which one to throw out, Steve.
You just got to decertify all of them. That's the problem.
That's
what the Secretary of State. Well, it's not a do-over. We don't need another vote. We had a vote. Trump won that vote because his votes came in on November 3rd and they count.
So void all of them if they've been commingled.
This is what the argument that Rudy and these guys are making right now. They all got to get thrown out, and they're going to get more and more discovery. You're going to see what these anomalies are about only the Biden votes. Right, and the ones that came in by mail, they're only Biden votes and nobody else.
Let's stop here. This is the latest. So this is the latest that we have reports of batches of thousands and thousands of ballots where the only mark on the ballot was for Biden, as if the person in the booth couldn't care less about the local proposition, the new tax hike, and the local rep. The only thing that they filled in was Joe Biden. Now, what do we do with those? What do we do with those, Steve?
Those have to be, I think those got to be looked at. If they can have a chain of custody and they came from a real voter and they're on the double envelope in Pennsylvania, they should and must count. If they can't, if there's no chain of title, no chain of custody, and they can't be verified, they got to go. Remember, this is all about the Secretary of State.
Yes.
CNN and people don't have any standing here. Who has standing is a Secretary of State that has to certify the vote by a date certain. That date is December 6th. Okay, if they can't, the assembly, the General Assembly in Pennsylvania has to get involved. Okay, and that's Republican controlled. Remember, they're Republican controlled in most of these battleground states. They're going to become. This is what Mark Levin keeps talking about. What an important role they play. Now, if they can't certify and put forward a slate of electors, right, for the real vote, in this case it would be for Donald Trump. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. If the Electoral College doesn't meet on the 14th in the state capitals, in the 50 state capitals, with electors, you can't have the Electoral College. It gets kicked in what's called a contingent election into the House of Representatives in January. And Donald J. Trump, it's not by individual congressmen. It's by state party. It's by party delegation.
Right.
Of the states. The Republicans control 28. The Democrats control 22. Nancy Pelosi, with her big, huge gavel, has to gavel it in, have a vote, and Donald J. Trump will be elected.
Nobody talks about this. Nobody. We did it last time, and we blew YouTube records. Let's walk through this again because this is absolutely crucial. I was on Indian television this morning. Great show, great host, conservative guy, and he kept talking about Biden has won and he's president-elect. And I said, I like your show and I like you too, but let's be clear. You don't even have a president-elect until the Electoral College chooses the president-elect. We have no president-elect. We have a president and we have a contested election. And he said, well, thank you very much, because we don't know that here in India. We have all over the American media. We have... Condoleezza Rice tweeted yesterday, and I very politely quote tweeted her, congratulations to President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. And I don't like doing this, but I had to school the former provost of Stanford, whose PhD is in political science, that we do not have a president-elect until the Electoral College. It just does not exist. There is no president-elect. Talk us through the current system. What is the threshold for failure of the Electoral College? How many states have to fail in certification for it to go to the House of Representatives on a party-by-state delegation to elect the president?
Well, it's simple. If no one gets the 270 electoral votes,
bingo.
If anybody gets the 270 electoral votes, done. Then you come for a ceremonial. Should be ceremony. We had a couple of faithless electors last time. I think most of that's been sorted out. But they come for a ceremonial on January 6th after the new Congress is set. So here's the process, the critical path. Between now and December 6th, the secretaries of state and the governors in these states have to certify the vote. Okay. Once the vote's certified, a slate of electors for whoever won that vote, right, which is 50% plus one vote, becomes that slate of electors will go to the state capitol on the 14th. You have a safe harbor essentially on the 8th of December. That means if it's not done on the 8th, it's got to be done by the 8th because they need about 6 days to get kind of organized. If it's not done by December 8th, the electors are not going to meet in the state capitol. You have not gotten to the threshold of 270 electoral votes. And right now, in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, right, in Arizona, in Georgia, this is all up in the air. So, and that's all got to be certified. You have areas right now that are talking about a hand ballot recount in Maricopa County. They're talking about maybe doing a hand ballot recount in Fulton County.
Yes.
In addition, they're going to do a recount in the whole state. We know that every time you get into these things, you start peeling off Biden votes. In addition, the lawsuit's key is to throw out the mail-in ballots, or to throw out every mail-in ballot that can't be certified.
Right.
All we're talking about is the certification election. What people should maniacally focus on here is the certification of the election. If you can't certify the vote, you can't then have electors. If you don't get electors of 270 to get to the Electoral College, guess what? The framers and after 1876 have a solution. Everybody take a deep breath. It goes to the House of Representatives. The reason you don't have any talk about this right now, and they wanted to Bigfoot by having the media call it on Saturday, they understand they lose in the House. Okay? It goes
to the House, and it goes by party delegation per state, which is 28 Republican to 28 Democrat, which means theoretically, Steve, the president should be a shoo-in, correct?